Hey guys, it's Archie Luxury. How are you today? Guys, it's time to pack and leave China. That's right, guys. I'm flying back to Brisbane. Thanks, BC. He's a man-child. Can't cope with life. Yeah, that's right. I had my son die, you fucking prick. You fucking turd. Who are you? Who are you? Why don't you show your face, you piece of fucking proverbial shit? What a cunt. Guys, it's the Archie Luxury stream. Let's run an intro and let's get this baby on the ground. Let's get this fucker in the sky, hey? Let's get this fucker in the sky. That's what we need to do. We need to get this baby off the ground. Go home, Paul. That's where I'm going. We're going home. Today is the last day. That's right. That's right, guys. It's the last day. Let's go, big boy. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. There we go. Do you really believe this guy's got a Mickey Mantle card? I mean, it just doesn't check out. You know what I mean? It just sort of doesn't. Let's get Herman on. Herman's pissed off at me. Herman's pissed off. Why is Archie in China? Because I feel like it. I went to London. I had a stopover. And now I'm coming back home. Gonna take the beamer out. Take the beamer out, fuckers. Whose room is this? I'm renting a room in China. I'm getting ready to leave. That's what's happening, guys. We're getting ready to leave. Here we go. We got a super chat. Let's run the intro music. Let's run the intro music, and then we'll come back and get this super chat. Let's get the intro music on the screen now. Hey guys, Archie Luxury here. We got a super chat in. This is from the Patel Philippe, $10 Canadian. First super chat for the night. And he says, what are the best Pateks that you recommend for a first-time buyer? Pick maybe a dress watch, a sports watch, and a grand complication for the discerning man. I got to tell you something. That's a really good question. A lot of people want to get into the Patek game, and they're bargain shoppers. So let's have a look through a couple of really good buys. What do I think is some good buys out there? Okay, let's go and have a look. Mark the Shark, member for 17 months. Terrible idea to choose OC over Bear. Who made it? Yeah, I agree with you. However, Bear was never replaced with OC. What happened is Bear decided he wanted to take a break. And I believe he's coming back. My understanding is the man could be coming back. Now, in the meantime, Timok imploded. So the spoils of war, we get the spoils of war. So do we say to OC, fuck off? Or do we say, hey, Timmy, stick this up your ass? So I decided to go with, Timmy, stick this up your ass And that's the reason we had OC on the show. Now, does that mean I sold out? Definitely not. In fact, Bear seems to like Timmy. I don't know. I think Bear's a bit of a delusional fantasist at times. He likes Timmy. Well, you know what? Timmy's always been a cunt. And I never really minded OC. So it's my show. I do what I like. I do what I like. Now, let's have a look. Some first-time Pateks. What would I recommend? Now, I reckon, you know, first-time buyers, money is important. You want bang per buck. So let's have a look at some bang per buck. First Patek, I would say, very safe bet. A white gold 5196G. Manual wind. Just a beautiful Patek Philippe. Now, the only criticism is it could be considered a little small. Next level up from this, we go to a 5296. Do we go to a sector dial? Well, actually, 5296, I don't think it really matters. Any of these, it doesn't really matter the metals. It's a automatic with date, 38 mil. Perfect size, in my opinion. Okay, we're still going in rose gold. Look at that. It looks stunning. Okay, what else would I recommend? Okay, so then if we really want to get a bargain, how about a 5111? I've owned one of these. Very much Art Deco style of watch. Absolutely, it's a big chunky monkey, precious metal, beautiful manual wind, Patek Philippe. Okay, so that's where I'd be looking at if you are looking at a starter Calatrava. Okay, say you want to get a complication. I reckon the best bang per buck in complications is a Patek World Time. These are way under the mark, and in my opinion, bang per buck, the best bang per buck would be the 5130. The 5110, the model that I actually had a 5110, wee bit small. It's a wee bit small. Lovely watch, beautiful dial, but it's a wee bit small. 5130 is the largest they made, and on the secondary market, absolute bang per buck. Okay, what other complications? Look, you know, you could look at a 5035. The criticism of them is they are a little bit small. 37 mils. 37 mils. That's a 5035. I would say the next thing that I would say is a great watch to get. I tell you what I'd look at is a 6006. Big size, Calatrava, unusual, great history, great pedigree. Just on the secondary market, these are relatively good buying for a newish big Patek. Complication, well, we did the World Time. Grand complications, fuck, they're expensive, getting expensive there. That's sort of the ballpark, I think, on the bang and the buck. Bang per buck. Bang and the buck. The Bang and the Olufsen. Bang and Olufsen. That's right, guys. It's Bang and Olufsen. So I reckon that is the best bang per buck. So there you go. Dress watch. There's a number of Calatravas. Sports. Fuck, sports. See, I don't see Patek as really being very good bang per buck. See, you get into Nautilus, Aquanauts. Ooh, expensive. I don't think there is a good sports for the noobs to come out here. Okay, let's get a few. Just getting a few people who we could get interesting on here. It's, by the way, I just got a message from my good friend CB. We love our CB, and he wants to point out the lousiest lover. This is from a porn star. Actually quite good looking lady. I've slept with over 40 nationalities and Aussies are the worst. Let's have a look at this. I tend to agree. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Patel Philippe, $2. Do you wear a Nautilus or a 3970 to a collector event? So 3970 is a 36 mil perpetual calendar chronograph. I've actually held one. You know what? They're actually a very beautiful piece. They're actually really nice. Let's see who we can get on today. We'll see who we can get on the stream. Let's see. I've got we got Half. I'm sending an invite to Half. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can get Herman Ingram. Herman Ingram, come on the show and talk to me, hey? Come on, talk. Fuck, that guy is sensitive. That guy is a sensitive son of a bitch. Fucking sensitive. Oh, my God, man. Fuck, speak about twisted musicians who are fucking, you know, temperamental little fucks. Man, I don't give you kit gloves. I just treat you like a normal human being. That's what I do. I treat you like a normal human being. That's all I do, man. I don't treat you any different. Now, is that wrong? Kessler, let's get Kesslowitz on here. We got JJ LeCoux. Is JJ? I don't know what's wrong with Machine Gun Chris. I haven't seen him in ages. He's been very busy. I've been sending invites to him. Let's get him on. Get him on. Get him on. Get him on. Who else have I got? The Bear Clooney. Would the Bear come on? I don't know. We'll send him an invite. Let's send him an invite. It doesn't hurt. I got nothing against the Bear. The Goldberg. Now, that is somebody I really do like. The Goldberg. He is the world's greatest dog trainer. Absolutely the bestest in the world. Let me have a look. Who else can I invite? Well, that's probably the main punters. We've sent out the invites. They're all gone. They've gone now. They're gone. I didn't send an invite to the... I did send one to the Clive. So yes, I did. That's done. Of course, I sent one to him. Now we've got another super chats coming in. They're coming in fast. So, you know, I got to tell you there, what do you wear to a collector event? You obviously wear the 3970. I mean, fuck. See, that's a 3970. They're an amazing, look at that. Isn't that amazing? 36 mil. Fuck. They're an amazing watch. Are they a bit small? Well, it's a different genre. They're from a different time. Okay. I got a feeling these have, you know, very good potential. Rare as fuck. They're beautiful. They're a fucking perpetual calendar chronograph. Does it get better than that? Fuck. The only thing better would be a 5004 perpetual calendar chronograph split second, but that's getting ridiculous. That's the only thing I would say. We got another super chat from Patel Philippe, $5. Just one response to CB. Oh, what's CB saying? CB. Oh, yeah, CB. CB. Just one response to CB. We got CB, and he's saying, John, I'll get you on in 1 minute. The 5270-014 blue has the chin. I think the 5270-019 doesn't. AC3, can you show both? Yes, let's do that. Let's have a look there. 5270-019. So that's the blue one. This chin, where the fuck is this chin? I can't see the chin. What the fuck? Chin. I don't understand the chin on this thing. 019, 014. 4. Where is this chin? I don't understand. The chin. The chin. I don't get it. I really don't get where this chin is. Please explain what the chin they're talking about. I can't see a chin. Speaking of can't see, we got John. How are you, John?
Tired.
I met you in London. You were at the London Watch Show. You were helping a friend out with the micro brands. How did he go? Did the show work out okay for him?
Yeah. Sorry I didn't have time to speak to you. I was very busy. It was quite a tiring day. I had to get down to London from 8 o'clock in the morning and finish up and tidy up. So it was Dee's event, and he worked very, very hard. He worked very hard for everybody. He put on a fantastic event, and we did our very best. And he put me on the micro brands. I got to speak to some people. There were the usual criticisms, people who I think are very jealous of Dee's acumen, his achievements, and his professionalism in the watch world. I met a few interesting characters. I met Roman Scharf.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, apparently he's quite famous. And he put me on his Instagram account, and then he made me very famous as well, which was
great,
interesting.
Man.
Yeah, which was interesting because he asked me about the brand, which Dee asked me to represent, and I was honest. I might be many things, Archie. I'm not a liar, and I told him that I don't know anything at all about what it is that I'm here for. If you've got any questions, I'll write your questions down, and then I'll get the people who know the answers to the questions to answer your questions. And I think that it was interesting because he asked me a few questions, and I gave the answers, which some people appreciated, some people didn't.
Tell me this: what do you think of these micro brands? They're interesting watches, aren't they?
Sure. Look, great question, Archie. I think that a lot of the brands are made in Hong Kong, the parts and the components, and they get their inspiration from the Swiss, who have designed the movements and designed the concepts. But I think my understanding, and this may be wrong, is I don't think the micro brands give full appreciation and full credit to the people who actually design the watches and they put in the hard yards. And I think they just don't give the credit and appreciation where it's due. What they do is mass produce these designs, and I think it opens it out to a lot of people who want to have similar types of wristwatches. And somebody pointed out even my wristwatch, the Casio F91W, is copied. But you know, this is a great watch. I use this watch every day. It costs what, £12?
You're a Rolex man, John. You're a multi-millionaire Rolex man. You fly planes. You live in a castle, and besides that working class demeanor, you're filthy fucking rich, aren't you, John?
Great point. I think people, the richest thing we can have, Archie, is our health and friends. Yes. When I was in Australia working, I met a doctor when I was working with the Flying Doctor Service, and he said there's no such thing as strangers. There are only friends that we haven't met yet. Money comes, money goes, and the faster and the harder we chase money, the faster it will run away from us. If we've got our health and we've got our friends, we've got our lives. And I've just learned, Archie, that you recently lost your son, and you know, this is something which is, you know, I've lost family members as well, and this is something that it helps us to anchor what exactly is life. And I can't imagine, you know, what you're going through. I've lost my mother and father. I've lost family members. I've got one daughter who's my heartbeat, and your son would have been your heartbeat as well. And when you lose somebody like that, Archie, it doesn't matter how much money you've got in the world. It doesn't matter how much material wealth you have.
True, John, the money. Just let me catch up on the super chats. Patel Philippe, $5. John Smith, tell us the most famous saucer you've collected from a dinner party. Do you collect saucers?
I've got a few saucers, but I've recently, my cup collection, I think that's when I became well known in the watch circles for the cup collection, that I collected a few cups from BQ Watches with Spencer Dreyer, but unfortunately, all of his cups have
Oh, that's
not
right.
survived. But I've got this cup. The manager of Dee's event in London, and I collected this cup, which was very nice. This is a
How do you
professional
walk out
cup.
with the cup? Do you mind if I ask you, how do you walk out with the cup?
Sure. The manager of the facility made me a cup of coffee, and we found out that both our parents are from Hungary. So we had a chat, and that was quite nice. And I've got lots of friends from Hungary and also from Ukraine. And we had a chat about that. And she gave me actually not one cup, but two cups. I got this one, which was very nice. It's got the handle on it. And she gave me another cup as well, which I'll just get down for you. I'll show you this.
But when you say she gave you a cup, she just gave you a cup of coffee. She didn't expect you to take the cup away.
I asked, I said, I collect the cups, and she goes, just take the cup. It'll save us from washing it.
Okay, that sounds good. You should have asked for a clean one. We've got another super chat. CB, $5. Tan is correct. The 019 is the non-chin version. Thank you, CB. Let me ask you this here. You've also, John, you're involved in aircraft.
Yep.
You've dealt with tragedy in flying circles as well. That's a very dangerous sport. Vintage aircraft, old aircraft, which you know as well as I do, when you're up in the air, you've got split-second disasters can happen very quickly. You've had a few near misses yourself, haven't you, John?
Yes, I have. One of the most interesting incidents that didn't involve myself was in Elstree Aerodrome, where one of the flying instructors showed me a video footage of an aircraft, and there was a tire mark on the right wing. And this aircraft was a Piper PA-28, which is a low-wing monoplane, and on the upper surface of the right wing was a tire mark. And he said, "What do you think caused that?" I said, "Don't know. It looks like," he said, "look at the tire mark." And it was an aircraft tire. And he said, "How do you think a tire mark got onto the upper surface of the right wing of that aircraft?" I said, "I haven't got a clue." And what had happened is, on takeoff from Elstree Aerodrome on the 26 runway, the aircraft had climbed into the sun. An aircraft was climbing down, and the aircraft actually collided. Two aircraft collided with each other. And the aircraft that collided with the low-wing aircraft was a high-wing Cessna. And the tire had hit the wing. And they came so close to a double fatality. And it's the most incredible thing that I've seen, a tire mark on the upper wing of a light aircraft.
They both survived?
Yeah. And in fact, the pilot in the aircraft was unaware that he'd been hit, because this aircraft came out of the sun. It's only when he landed that somebody pointed out there was a bang and a thump. He was absolutely unaware of what had happened. It's one of the most incredible...
What is air traffic control? They had no air traffic control at the time?
They've got a tower control which controls, it's not radar controlled, but they've got a procedural radar, and you're meant to maintain separation and distance, but there's no radar control, no radar separation. It's underneath the London zone, which is Class A airspace. That's Class D airspace, which is not radar controlled at all. So I think
that's terrible. Super chats. Tell Philippe, AC3, would you prefer a Balmoral Castle Private Reserve or a bottle of Bruch à the Ditch Private Reserve? I think I'll take the Balmoral Castle Private Reserve.
Well, you take the Balmoral rather than the Bruichladdich, but you know, I'm not a whiskey drinker, but people keep giving me bottles of whiskey. So, there we have it.
So that's John. Last time I was talking to you, you mentioned that you had actually separated with your wife. Your de facto.
Yeah.
Is there any chance of reconciliation, John? I mean, let's face it. If you've got a young daughter, it'd be much better if the two parents were living together,
Sure.
you would see your daughter a lot more. Isn't it worth making that sacrifice? How do I put it politely? Maybe put up with the crazy bitch just so until your daughter grows up a bit. Wouldn't that be wiser? No?
Yeah, yeah. My ex is a messy cow, and I'm very tidy and neat. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't go with dirty women. I don't gamble.
Sure.
I'm very considerate in what I do. My ex is very messy. She's Asian and Swiss, and I thought that I was going to get somebody that cleans my house efficiently and effectively at 9 o'clock every morning. But what I got was Asian laziness and German stubbornness, and that doesn't mix well with somebody who's
Well, what
Scottish.
nationality was your wife?
Swiss.
Then how has she got any Asian in her?
Her mother is from the Philippines.
Her mother's from the Philippines.
Yeah.
So she's got a bit of Asian. She must be good looking.
She was attractive. She's an attractive girl, but it's somebody. There was a very prominent businessman told me that if you marry a bitch for the good looks go, and you'll be left with the bitch. And we've all been out.
Tell me this:
yeah.
Do you really need to have the house done at 9 a.m. every day? Maybe she's got other qualities.
That was a joke, Archie. Because the Filipinos are very good housekeepers, house cleaners. And I thought that if she was a Filipino, she's going to clean the house. And if she's Swiss, she's going to do it effectively at 9 o'clock, precisely every day. It's a joke. Bad joke.
What happened? What happened then? What went wrong? Tell me this.
Her mother moved in.
Her mother moved in with you?
Yeah.
And you didn't get on with the mother?
Does anybody get on with her mother-in-law?
I don't know. You tell me. Was it nothing?
No, I think it's a physical impossibility that every mother thinks the son-in-law or the man their daughter goes out with is not good enough. It just ain't happening.
So what happened? What happened then? So they basically poisoned.
Yeah, you poured.
How many years were you together?
10 years. 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting some very funny chats here. You need to be involved. Angelic_Slayer with a spanner said you need to get involved with your mother if they move in. Do you know what? I mean, some people do. It's I think it's past 9 o'clock.
Here we go. We've got Herman Love, $2. Discuss the Tenerife tragedy. Well, the Tenerife tragedy, that's where two 747s collided.
That's right.
In the late 70s. That's
right. That's right.
I think that's the arrogant Dutch. That was the KLM and the Pan Am.
That's right. Yeah. One was on departure. Yeah. Horrific accident.
I think it was the KLM who was to blame.
Yeah. Yeah. So
the good news.
You
look at the elements. They had poor visibility, miscommunication.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think. I don't think it's. That's a disaster. That's a disaster.
Yeah. Anyway, that incident. I think if people who are listening to the live stream now, rather than listen to a subjective account from myself, everything is available online from the National Transportation Safety Bureau, so you get an absolutely accurate account of what went on, rather than listen to me and we might get some of the facts wrong. John, what is your exit cup?
Only $2. We've got $2. Patel Philippe, $2. John, what is your exit cup? Stanley, FA, or Holy Grail?
I've actually got my exit cup. I've got my exit cup, and I'll show it to you now. If I'll just get my exit cup down now. If I can get it. This is my exit cup, and after the last of Spencer Dryer's cups broke, I don't have any more BQ watches, but this is my exit cup. I'm no longer collecting cups. There you go. This is a handmade cup.
From who?
From the Downland Challenge, which is an off-road 26-mile marathon. And I've got the flyer for here, the Compton Challenge. Here you go. So it's a 26 mile or a 16-mile trail race. I did that a few weeks ago. And this is my exit cup. This is the last cup I've got, no longer collecting cups. And the only criticism that I've got about D-Time and D Francesco in London is no cups. It would have been an absolutely perfect watch event if he'd provided cups. And it would have been even more perfect if I wasn't there, because apparently I kind of wrecked the micro brands by telling Roman Scharf what I thought I knew about a certain brand of wristwatch which was made in Hong Kong, which wasn't appreciated. But interestingly enough, after Roman Scharf made me...
Which brand of wristwatch?
I'd rather not mention the names, because I promised Dee that I wouldn't. Those who know, and those who don't know, it's better that they don't know. But after Roman Scharf made me famous for 15 minutes, I went off and investigated exactly the company that inspired this brand, and they've got some very interesting wristwatches. And actually, what was quite interesting is I got in touch with them. They sent me an email, and I had a very interesting phone call with them, and I've been invited to Geneva to actually visit them. So if I do go to Geneva, maybe we can... You
were married, or you were just de facto? You were de facto, weren't you, with this Filipino Swiss lady?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what did she do as a profession? Did she have a profession, or...
Yeah, IT analyst, information technology and computers. Yeah.
Okay, that's a pretty clever lady. And I think, John, I got to be honest with you, I think you're a bit set in your ways. You're not flexible.
Correct. Yeah.
So why did she want to move her mother in with you? Whose idea was that? Why didn't you nip it in the bud and say, that sounds like a really horrible idea?
When our daughter was born, because I don't have a big community support network here, and I'm involved with my work, and it involves going away, she wanted somebody at home, and she turned to her mother. So her mother moved in and got her feet under the door. Yeah.
And what did you say to the mother?
Initially, we had a kind of professional relationship where we agreed to disagree, but she just, you give them an inch and they take it a mile. So it didn't end well for the mother. What actually happened, I think I can tell the people listening, in one funny episode was she had a friend who visited her from Switzerland who's a model, and she was tall and blonde.
A female or male friend?
Female. Very attractive female model. And my partner was at home with her baby daughter. She came to visit to see the newborn and all the rest of it. And her flight was leaving from London Luton back to Geneva. So I gave her a lift up to the airport, and we got her in the car. Now, just as I was about to drive off, the mother-in-law gets in the car as well to make sure that, on the 20 miles to the airport, I didn't accidentally try and have sex with her best friend. So her mother had to her mother had to jump in the car as well. Now, not only did her mother have to... Well, I was too busy trying to get this model to very attractive to the
what sort of car?
Airport. I think it was a Volvo. I drive Volvos because I'm a boring person that drives Volvos. I like my Volvos.
Always good. They make good stuff. XC90.
It wasn't a seat. I think it was a V70. Anyway. So what happened, Archie, was we drove up to the airport, and not only was the mother adamant she was going to chaperone us in case anything, in case I accidentally, had sex with her on the way up.
You should have tried to bump the mother-in-law. That'll teach her one.
Oh, rather not. So, anyway, so what happened was that up at the airport, after giving me directions, teaching me how to drive, chaperoning me, just generally being an annoying, horrible person, I got to the airport and I was actually quite angry at this point, and I was stopped by the police. So she jumps out of the car.
Why were you stopped by the police?
at the airport, security checks. They're very, very hot on security in Luton Airport, which I'll come on to. Please, if the viewers can remind me to get back on the point about Luton Airport, why are they hot on security? So what happened was the police officer said, look, you know, can I have a word with you? And she jumps out the car, gets the bags out and runs off into the terminal. And the police officer said, are you okay? I said, not really. He said, you look very, very agitated. Are you okay? I said, no, I'm not. He goes, listen, tell me what's going on. I said, the mother-in-law, and explained what's happening, and I haven't been asleep, and the baby's been up all night, and the mother-in-law's here, and blah, blah, blah. And the police officer said, look, it's a busy road. Just go home. Why get into a car with a mad woman? So I did. I drove home. I left her mother at the airport. I went home. And I got home. And somebody said, did I get involved with the police officer and the mother-in-law? That's another, I'll tell you, please remind me, that can lead on to another story about a police officer. Big Al's Golden Watches, quit lying, John. Tell me what I'm lying about. If I'm not making something clear, let me explain it. So the police officer told me to leave the mother-in-law there, and I went home and I went to sleep. And about an hour later, my ex, she goes, where's my mother? I said, I left her at the airport. Why'd you do that? I said, the police officer told me not to put her in the car. She's absolutely she's a
degenerate. Does the mother-in-law have a phone with her? Could you at least tell her, say hey?
No. I think she was actually still in her pajamas walking around Luton Airport.
Then when she left the car, how were you supposed to get her or rendezvous to pick her up? I don't understand that.
I was so angry with her. I wasn't even thinking straight. I thought, I just want to get this mad person out of my car before I crashed the car. So she was wandering around Luton Airport in her pajamas. I think she got a taxi home and we had to pay for it at the other end. But that was a salutary lesson. Don't push somebody to the point where a police officer notices that there's something really not right going on, and just, mate, just leave her.
Yeah, I think
there are so many fatalities on that road.
In all fairness to the mother-in-law, you do look very agitated at the best of times. Okay, I think.
Thanks, Archie. Thanks.
I think you do look quite agitated. We got a super chat. Patel Philippe, $2. John, did you buy a 4P watch and thoughts on 4P quitting? Yes.
No, I didn't buy the watch. The watch, I said to Paul when I saw him at the watch exhibition in D's watching, I said, with the guys listening, Big Al said, let's see the footage. I don't have any footage, Big Al. Anyway, look, if there's any more questions, just ask. I didn't buy the watch, guys, because 3 reasons. Firstly, it didn't speak to me. It didn't actually say anything to me. I didn't kind of have that connection from the renders and the pictures. I spoke to Max von Braug, who's designed the watch. I said, look, it's a great design, but he told me he's bringing out a 3-hander as well and a helium watch. I said, look, if I can actually see the watch and I'll take it out, I'll work with it, if it actually, does something. But I think Paul and Max von Braug did a great collaboration. And I think when the actual watch is out there, maybe I'll change my mind, maybe I'll look at it. But in answer to Patel Philippe's question, no, I didn't buy the watch. No, I didn't. Look, you guys know I do a lot of running. And I think Garmin and Sunto and these other watches.
I can understand why your wife would be upset. I mean, I think if you take someone, I would have said to her, why are you coming? And no, I don't need you to come. I would have sorted it out before you went on the drive.
We were in such a hurry to get to the aircraft. We'd left it late. Her departure was there. We've got to be there at a certain time. And she just jumped in the car.
Sloppy planning. There we go. Sloppy planning again, John.
Yeah, I think you're right. Can't argue with that.
You've got to take responsibility. So you can't really leave the mother-in-law at the airport. I knew that would end in disaster. Of course, you can't just, even though she's a bitch, that's possibly okay. So what happened then? So after that, when did she decide to leave you? See, I think you're a little bit extreme, John. When did they decided to pack up and leave?
Oh, that was many years after that. Many, many years later. I said to the mother-in-law,
when did the mother-in-law get the hint to leave?
Say again, Archie. When did
she get the hint to leave?
She used to come. She used to travel between England and Switzerland all the time, just arrive and depart, arrive and depart. So what happened was we
She had a
get on
husband
better
in
now.
Switzerland. She
No,
had a
divorced.
husband in
No,
Switzerland.
divorced. Archie, maybe I can
How did
introduce
she
you to the
support herself
mother-in-law.
then?
See
How did
again?
she support herself? How did she
She's got her
survive,
own.
support herself?
She's got her own businesses. Maybe I can introduce you to my ex-mother-in-law.
What sort of business did she have?
I think she was involved in cleaning and property maintenance and all this kind of stuff. You know, she's an attractive lady. She's an Asian lady. She's attractive.
How
The
old
thing
is
is,
she?
Archie, I think she's in her early 50s, late 50s, early 60s. She's not that old. So maybe we can throw it out to all the guys listening. Do you think I should introduce my ex-mother-in-law to Archie? And if they get together, then I will be related to Archie.
Very interesting connection there, that's for sure. John, I got to tell you, I quite like her.
The thing is,
I'm
you could
already starting to
harness.
shine to her. She's useful. She's she speaks English and Swiss.
Yeah.
That's
Captain, some
very good.
some stories are just over detailed. Well, okay. I'll make them under
So, John,
detailed then.
tell me this. The problem is, John, if you would have sacrificed and said, okay, I'm going to stay with you. How old is your daughter now?
5.
Fuck. See, that's a long time to be away. I would have think you should have sacrificed and just sucked. I mean, your wife was probably earning decent money in IT.
Yeah. Hans needs the Swiss.
Has she found someone else now? Has she found another guy now?
No, we actually see each other every weekend and we get on better now. We don't have to live with each other. I'm very neat and tidy. She's a messy cow. Can I tell you guys something quite funny at the watch exhibition? I was talking to somebody who represents one of the leading watch brands, and we were talking about relationships and how I said, I was asking him about his wife, and I said, "Is your wife tidy?" And
yes.
in England, if you say to somebody,
that means is she good looking in that there? Yes.
And in Scotland, in Scotland, it just means, does she keep a clean house?
Does she keep a clean house?
Yeah.
Mean
so I said to this fellow, I said, "Is your wife tidy?" And he went, "What?" And he kind of looked at me like, is she tidy? And he didn't understand. And I realised that in England, that, is your wife good looking? And it said, Angelic Slayer, yeah, correct. And I said, "Is your wife tidy?" And he said, "Yeah, I think so. I've been with her for 20 years. I do find her tidy." And I realised that, we had a bit of a laugh about it afterwards. But you just imagine if there was a punch up and a bit of a dust up at that exhibition.
Yes, we've got a super chat. Patel Philippe, $2. John, is William Wood the brand to pick up the tarts?
That's a great question. That is a fantastic question. Why?
William Wood. What's William Wood?
I know the answer to that.
William Wood?
No. I know the answer to that. I know what the answer to that
William Wood, that's the coronation watch, wasn't it?
No, it's the fireman's watch, and all women love a fireman. So if you've got a fireman's watch on your wrist, women think you're a fireman, and ergo, people will think that, you're a fireman. So that's the watch to say, hey, all the girls love a fireman.
On the screen there. Keep talking.
Yeah. So I don't think, in answer to your question, that the watch will make you attractive to women. It's a bit of a Walter Mitty watch that if somebody wants to go out and say, "Hey, look at me, I've got a fireman's watch," you're not a fireman. Most firemen I know just have Garmin, Suntos, and Casios. But there you go. So that's the answer to your question. Is William Wood the brand to pick up tarts? No. Why would you want to pick up tarts anyway? Why don't you just try and get a decent woman? Anyway. So that's
well, I tell you, one thing you can tell is that with that attitude he's got, he's not going to be picking up anyone, is he?
No.
I mean, seriously, you have to be. There are women who have looser morals than others, but at
Yeah,
the end of the day, if you approach things nicely, um,
yeah.
that would have been,
Happy
you
Meal,
know, you
John.
could have really said something to the mother-in-law to shock her. You know that?
Yeah, somebody's asking a question. Am I a Happy Meal with a spanner? I don't know what the spanner means. Am I a 4P groupie? No, no. I
What do you
think
think of Paul Thorpe quitting watches? You heard about this, didn't you? He's quitting the
no.
watches.
Can we get rid of the William Woods and can we go back to having big heads again? So we
Sure.
can.
The
Thank you.
Let
Good.
me ask you this. You know about
Yeah.
Paul Thorpe? He's decided he wants to do more political YouTube content instead of watch talk.
Look,
I think it's a mistake. I think it's a mistake, personally.
right. I'm going to say, sure. Sorry.
Keep
A
going.
couple of things about
What
a
do you,
couple of things about Paul Thorpe. Paul Thorpe. I can only say about people how I found them. I take people as I find them. And Paul Thorpe with myself has always been decent. He's been a gentleman. He's been honest. He's been supportive.
100? I totally agree with you. I found him the same way.
Yeah. I won't, and I think Paul is a decent man. I think Paul Thorpe is a decent man. He's a good man. And in Great Britain, as there is in America and Australia and the Commonwealth countries, and in countries with federal administrations and civil law, such as the United States, and countries with common law, such as England, Scotland, and Australia, and New Zealand, and European law, we all have the freedom of speech. We've all got the freedom of expression. And if Paul Thorpe comes out and expresses what he believes in, and that's his firm belief, it's his political beliefs based on his experience, his life, and what he actually believes, we have to respect that. We don't have to agree with it. And if Paul Thorpe says that he supports the Reform Party and the Reform Party have an agenda with this country, we have to respect that. We don't have to agree with it. But we've got to say, yeah.
I'm not so sure.
Paul Thorpe was arrested.
I'll be honest with you. I quite like Thorpe. By the way, I'm just packing a few things in case you're wondering, because I'm leaving for a plane. I'll keep talking because I just packing a few things as I'm talking here. I want to say something to you. With Paul Thorpe, I like him. Actually, he's one of the nicest guys I met. Sometimes his politics, it does scare me a little bit. I'll be honest with you, I think one of the great things about Britain is the fact they have a constitutional monarchy. So they basically democracy with a monarchy. out of all the countries that have monarchs, I think England's monarch seems to have gone pretty well. I'm not going to name countries because I do want to go there again. And if you mention anything against them, you can bet into big trouble, which is just ridiculous. But let's not go there. The thing I must say is that I think the British people spoke. They kicked out the Tories, the Conservatives, and they wanted Labour. Well, I think that's how a democracy should work. That's exactly what happens. And I got to tell you, that Rishi Sunak, he gave a very good speech as he left. He said, "Look, the people have spoken. This is what they want." And I thought he was very gracious. I think he was very gracious guy.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. In the advent of the general election in the United Kingdom, Paul Thorpe expressed his true beliefs, and the Reform Party with Nigel Farage gained 4 seats in the House of Commons, which I think has got 613.
Nigel kind of pisses me off. I'll be honest with you. He kind of, like these people. Let's be honest.
Hang on a minute, Archie.
In the English system, you basically it's a 2-party system. You've got Labour, who is your left wing, and you've got the right wing, who's your Tories, Conservatives. And I got to be totally honest with you. Coming from Australia, I don't understand. None of these politicians here, you guys have got death duties. See, in Australia, we don't have death duties. I
Yeah.
really wonder.
Yeah, it's
I
inheritance
really
tax.
wonder why no
Hang
one's.
on a minute, Archie. We're kind of jumping around all over the place. I mean, like, you know, but what I wanted to say was this. We had a general election in this country, and democratically, under a system of election, elected representatives, the Labour Party were voted in. Paul Thorpe supported reform, which was to the right of centre and had their own agenda. Now, look, putting Paul Thorpe's political beliefs to one side, right? We've got to separate personality from professionalism here. So I might not agree with the Reform Party. We might not agree with Nigel Farage, and we might say that some of this can be quite extreme. On the other side of the political spectrum, we have people who are extreme left wing, and we have people who start to conflate issues which are going on in the Middle East, which have got very little relevance to what's going on in the United Kingdom and any of the Commonwealth countries or any of the civil law countries such as the United States. So, I think that
I understand what you're saying there. I got to tell you something. I think England wanted a change. The people spoke. They wanted a change.
Yeah.
And I was always disappointed with David Cameron. David Cameron, he didn't want to leave the EU, and he resigned. He should have said, "Okay, the people are speaking. I'm going to implement the plan that they wanted." But I got to be honest with you. I think sometimes a change in government is very good, and I think that's the way. You want a good opposition. The only problem I must say is with the Conservatives, they've really been wiped out. To have good government, you need to have good opposition. I really do believe that. And unfortunately, Labor has really come in too strong. But hey, we'll see how they go there. I must admit, that guy who's the Labor guy, I'd never heard of him before, but he's got a knighthood. He's a sir.
Okay, Keir Starmer.
He's sir, isn't it, sir? Keir Starmer, isn't it, sir? And he's a Labour. It's funny you have a knighthood from a Labour, but he's
not really.
Not necessarily. Not really. The Queen was a bit left wing, they said too, privately.
Not really. He was given a knighthood. People are given honours in Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. And also foreign dignitaries as well. They're given knighthoods for service to the country and service to the people, not necessarily for their political beliefs. Traditionally, people who are to the right of politics, who come from very privileged and wealthy backgrounds, will accumulate honours more easily because of their social status and class than people from the left. Now, the only point I want to make to people watching and listening and making comments is that really, and I'm going to mention a couple of names here, the only people who should make comments about Paul Thorpe's political beliefs are people who have the right to vote and to stand in the same arena as Paul Thorpe and make the democratic comments which either support or oppose what Paul Thorpe has said. If they don't have that right, if they don't come from the UK, then really what they're saying should not be considered at all. Now, there are a number of people who live in Europe.
We got a super chat here from Toyota Mo, $5. Arch, can you please yell, reform the nuts? Reform the nuts! Reform these nuts. There we go. Now, John, let's move away from politics. That's always a tricky thing. John, I wanted to ask you, okay, so the lady you married, she was messy. Well, you'd lived with, she was messy, you're a clean guy. Okay. But, the truth is, there's other things besides being clean or messy. Maybe she was very good at other things, maybe she must have been an intellectual to have gone with you there. We got Patel Philippe, $5. Jem, when was the last time you air fried a succulent piece of frozen haggis? Do you air fry?
No. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go to the supermarket tomorrow and buy some haggis, and I'll come back on and I'll let you know what it tastes like.
Tell me this, John. So now you're in your 50s.
Yep.
You're single.
Yep.
Do you think there will be another Mrs. John or
No,
a lady of the house?
I think that when the mother-in-law goes back to Switzerland, we'll get back together again.
Oh, you're joking?
No, because I saw my partner and my daughter yesterday, and she realised, listen, guys, there's a lot of women out there who think they're big, tough, strong, independent women, and when they actually split from their men, they realise that it's not that easy, and then they come crawling back with their tail between their legs. But you got to treat them with dignity and respect. You go, yeah, you were right, But there's too much of this big, strong, tough, independent women nonsense going on that it's just utter nonsense.
Yes, I agree with you. You're 100%, John. You're on the money there. Actually, you're right. There is too much of that nonsense, isn't there?
Yeah. So I think we've got to give women a bit of latitude and give them an operational environment to work in. But give them an inch, they take it a mile. And then suddenly, after they've gone a mile with your inch, then you realise they've gone too far. They come back, So anyway, yeah.
No, I completely understand there, John.
Yeah.
It's no, that's a very good point. You do raise a good point there. John, I wanted to ask you, in your own life, you are kind of retired. You're semi-retired now, aren't you?
Well, I'm running marathons. I'm going out and really enjoying myself.
Well,
I'm
that
doing a
doesn't
couple
pay
of
the
building
bills,
projects.
does it? You don't have a normal job.
No. I'm going out running marathons.
You're a self-made man, right?
Yeah. I'm running marathons, I'm restoring aircraft, and I'm upsetting people at watch conventions and meeting very famous people and saying to them, I don't realise how famous they are.
How much money do you think you need to semi-retire? Can I ask you that? How much money do you need to semi-retire?
As much as you can. Because
a lot of people in this audience here would like to know, how much money do you need to semi-retire and live your lifestyle? You need a paid-off home. What should you have? A paid-off home? Paid-off apartment?
Own your own front door, own your home, and have enough money that you can be comfortable with, but never be hungry, but never be satisfied. And it's a kind of thin line that you got to just keep walking.
Never be hungry. See, explain that to me. Never be hungry. What do you mean by that?
That if you need something and you can't afford it, you got to make a sacrifice in your life. If you need milk, you need eggs, you need bread, and you don't have money for that. You're in a very look. I'll give you guys an example, right? 2 weeks ago, I did a marathon. It's called Sikhs in the City, and it's in London.
Yeah.
And we raise money for homeless people in East End of London. And Harminder Singh is the race director. And if you run a half marathon, you get a medal, which is a bronze samosa. If you run a marathon, which is 26 miles, you get the silver samosa. And I did the marathon, and Harminder Singh says, do you want to go home with the silver samosa? What about the gold samosa? Do an extra 8 miles. And I did the extra mileage. I got the gold samosa, and there was a homeless man there at the end of the race. And he was picking through some of the food that they have, these things they give out for people. And I said to him, mate, come into the sports centre, have some food, because they've got samosas and bread and pakoras and Indian food. And we got him in, this homeless man. And the Sikhs really treated this man with dignity and love and kindness. And we gave him food, and we gave him some clothes, and we gave him some money. But this man had been reduced to such a level that he was incapable of asking. He just felt, he'd been degraded to such a level in his life that he was at the end of an endurance race and he was picking through the rubbish. And that's not right. It's really sad. It's heartbreaking when you see something like that. So we got him, he just took him inside and gave him some food. So, Alejandro Gillick, the Samosa Marathon, it's called the Summer Samosa Marathon. Yeah, it's, Anyway, You can't eat a gold samosa. It just goes to show. The medal was
So
gold.
the question I've got for you is then, with the okay, fair enough, that's good. So okay, you said you want to basically, if you want to be you need to have enough money. How much money is enough? Can you mention a figure? You need a paid off house.
Right.
You
Jake the Yuppie
basically,
said, hang on a minute.
you need your bases covered. I got to tell you something, John. It's funny. I've met a lot of really rich people, and a lot of them seem really fucking miserable. Okay, let me tell you a story, John. I had a guy.
Before you do it, if I can just go back to this homeless man, somebody said he should lay off the meth. His life story was that his wife died. He didn't have any children, and it was the only woman he ever loved. He wasn't an alcoholic. He wasn't a drug user. He was a man who had fallen through the cracks and the holes in society and ended up on the street. And it's because of people like Sikhs.
A lot of the funny thing is that a lot of people these days, they look down on the homeless.
Yep.
And the sad thing is, how many of us are one job, a couple of payments between their current existence and homelessness?
All of us. All of us.
Because all it takes is a bit of a bad turn. You can have a few bad turns, right?
I'm going to tell you something now. I was with my ex yesterday. We went to a small restaurant. I played with my daughter in the park, and it was beautiful. And she said, "Daddy, I love you," and all this. And Dirk Diggler, I like the way John answers questions like riddles. Well, I'll come straight to the point. Somebody in the community centre where my daughter goes, he drives a Bentley. He lost his job. And his job basically was paying for that Bentley. And his wife phones my partner, and what am I going to do?
His job was
he lost his job. Paying for that Bentley. You know, he was living beyond his means. And he comes up with Bentley.
If you don't mind, could we please have what sort of Bentley was it? I actually quite like Bentleys. Was it a 2-door or a 4-door Bentley?
2-door Continental GT convertible.
Nice car. What color?
Blue, metallic blue.
Ooh, with oyster interior or black interior?
Yeah. Oyster.
Have you been inside that car?
No.
Did you ask
Not
him?
Interested.
Hey. Okay. So
I'll tell you. Listen, Archie. I'll tell you something about being inside a car, right?
Yes. So he lost his job. I want to get to the point. He lost his job.
I said, get the car. Just get rid of the car. And it was like,
what with him or who? Or who said that?
I said to the wife, you get rid of the car. Her response was, what will they think of me in the community centre when I don't turn up with a Bentley? Are you insane? Does it matter what they think about you? Do you live for what other people think about you? Is that how you live? You've only got one life. And Archie and everybody else listening, you're only as young as today.
It's funny you say that, John. I actually said that to somebody. I said, actually, can I tell you a story? Can I please tell you a story, John?
Yeah.
I had this guy who's a real pompous fuck. His name is Raphael Young. Okay? And I don't know how wealthy he is, but I suspect his family was sort of connected Chinese Singaporeans. He went to English boarding school, the poor bastard. And I'll be honest with you, he used to invite me to all these exclusive men's clubs. There's the Tangland. I mean, clubs in England that they're actually on the stink. People don't actually, these clubs are no longer in favor. But in Singapore, it's like 20 years behind the model times. People still like that sort of exclusive country club sort of. Anyhow, I've met him a few times. He invited me to the Tangland Club, the American Club, the Cricket Club. We went to a few different clubs. And then I said to him, I said, hey, he goes, oh, do you want to catch up? And I said, oh, yeah, that's fine. I got a friend with me. He goes, oh, don't take a friend. We're just us guys. And I said, Raphael, I said, if I've got someone with me, I'd like to take them with me to the club. I said, that. He goes, oh, I said, Raphael, I said, I would rather talk to whores than to talk to you. That's what I said to him. I said, I would rather talk to whores. I said, you're a member of these stupid clubs. I said, to be totally honest with you, I find them fucking boring. The service and the food at these clubs is no different than business class at an airport lounge. Okay, I said this to him. I said, yeah, it's kind of cool, but it's just like going business class. I said, there's nothing really special. I said, and all these people, they think their shit doesn't stink. It's also pretend. It's all pretend. And I said, I don't like mixing with these sort of fucking wankers. They're all fucking wankers like you. I said this to him, right? He got really offended. I said, they're all tossers like you. And I said, I don't mind a little bit exposure to these things, but it's not the be all and end all. These stupid wanker clubs that you like to belong to. I said, I find you boring. I'd rather talk to whores than talk to you. I said this to him, right? And I got to be honest with you. It's funny you say this. So many people. I like to be honest. When things are good, I'll tell you they're good. When they're fucking lousy, I'll tell you they're lousy. I think it's much more easier being honest about situation. And I'll be honest with you, the YouTube has gone terrible. Okay, I'm thinking about closing up shop, John. Closing up shop. I've had personal tragedy. My son's died. I had my collection stolen. It's pretty fucked. It's pretty fucked, John. And does that mean it's the end of the world for me? No. The interesting thing is, John, I used to be one of these people who would say, what do people think? The best thing I ever did was I actually drove taxis. It's a low status job. I did a low status job, and I realized something, John.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in the world I hate. Be nice to your taxi drivers. The thing I realized is, John, is that, you know what? Nobody really cares about you. Like, you think it's important he turns up in his Bentley, but you don't even like the guy. You think he's a bit of a tosser. I mean, if he turned up in a second-hand Vauxhall, everyone would say, what happened to your Bentley, John? I can't afford it.
Archie, if it was a second-hand
He was honest and said, I can't afford it. Things are turned. That's
Archie, Archie. If it was a second-hand Monaro, which are made by Vauxhall General Motors, then people, look, the point is this.
Expensive, those Monaros. They're expensive.
Yeah, look, the point is this. We've only got one lives. We've got to live our own lives. And I just
Speaking of which, I got to catch up on these super chats. $2, Patel Philippe. Raphael has the coveted New York edition world time. That's right, he does. The funny thing with Raphael Young, let me tell you this. This guy's a complete tosser. What I hate about him, what I really hate about him is he's one of these people. So he comes from a bit of privilege. I think he pretends to be a lot richer than he really is, because I've never been invited to his home. I've never seen a car. He's kind of full of shit. But the thing about him is, do you ever find people who put other people down to build themselves up? And I think that's one of the lowest things you can do, is to constantly criticize other people to build yourself up. And I studied psychology when I was at uni, and there's success by association, and there's also there's a thing where you put people down to build yourself up. And I thought, fuck, that really is so true. Jake the Yuppie, $3. What was the interest rate on the Bentley fleece? Yes. Did you have an idea? No.
None whatsoever. And I don't even know what a Bentley fleece is.
Was the Bentley kept in a garage?
Yes, it was.
A heated garage?
No.
Not sure. He's not sure. Frank V, $2. Was the Bentley kept in a garage? And that watch boy, yes. $2. Was the Bentley garage kept? Yes, indeed. Yes.
Yes. Hang on. Now Archie,
Okie
let's just...
dokie.
I'm just looking at some of these gentlemen. People want to talk about wristwatches. Now, a few months ago, there was somebody who's a WASTEP certified watch horologist, and we were trying to accumulate super chats so he could buy himself a Tissot digital PRX, which was so disgusting that it was actually cool. What do people think about the Tissot?
I'm going to bring something up on the screen here.
What do people think about the digital Tissot PRX? Because I'm actually thinking of trading in. Yeah, no, that's a 4-door Bentley. Wasn't that Bentley?
I went to yesterday. I went to the largest showroom of luxury cars in the world. That's an Azure. That's an old Shadow. Let's have a look. There we go. That's a Continental. Look at that. You like that?
That's it. Yeah, in blue, metallic blue.
The white one. I like the white one. Now, that's the older model because it's got the circle. They've gone for the square headlights, haven't they?
I don't know. I mean, I know
There's
nothing about
Aston Martin. Do you like Astons?
Yeah, I mean, my ex said to me
Ferrari?
that if we're still... Do I
How's
get to
that
finish
for
a
Bentley display? Ding, 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 ding. Look at that. Rolls Royce and Bentley.
Archie,
Boom, 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 boom.
Archie, do I get to finish a sentence?
Yes, sir.
My ex said if we're still talking in 10 years' time, she's going to buy me an Aston Martin DB7 3.2 straight 6 Dunhill. Get one of those up, Archie. Let the guys see what an Aston Martin DB7 3.2 straight 6.
You're going to buy a second-hand one or a new one? See, that could be quite feasible.
Yeah, second-hand. Second-hand. They don't make them anymore. The Dunhill DB7. Nice car. Anyway.
Aston Martin. Let me get this up here.
I just wanted to say, Archie, I don't...
Dunhill. I think I want to see the Dunhill.
Dunhill DB7.
The Dunhill edition.
Yeah, I don't think we're here for each other. I think we're here for the guys that are making chats, and we've got questions for us that we need to answer. So,
when these are like late 90s, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. So I'd like. There's a lot of questions that the guys want to. Two clowns window licking Bentleys. I don't window lick Bentleys, Yuri. No,
I actually
really
quite like. I'm going to tell you something. Can I tell you something? Yeah. I've thought about this long and hard, right? I'll be honest with you. I've thought about this long and hard. Let's go more window licking Bentleys. I like this photo is just amazing. Let me say this to you. Out of all the cars, I think a Ferrari is too brutal. Lamborghini, I'm too fat and too old for that. I think Bentley is the mark that I really like.
Okay.
Does he look cool in his Bentley when he comes to the community center? Can I ask you that?
No, because I've got my Volvo and I've got a few other things there.
So how did you know he's lost his job? Can you please tell me this? This is what's exciting.
His wife phoned my partner.
What
Captain
did she say?
Kirk. John, you mentioned cars. You can't pull him back now. It's too late.
What happened? How do you mean she mentioned? What did she say to your wife?
He's lost his job and I just.
Is he well off besides the Bentley?
Yes.
Like how well off?
Don't know, but he's comfortable. I'm reading these questions because I'm sure
he had
Archie.
I'm
sure some of these guys. What's that? Sorry.
John C. $2. Hey guys, I'm afraid of flying. Any tips?
Take the train, take the bus, get on a bicycle, put your leather personnel carriers on and walk. Or some people do hypnotism to get you over your fear of flying. Alejandro Gillick, Volvo and window licking. Window's got a W on the end of it. Porsches. Well, Porsche.
Porsche's look at that. Porsche. How many do you want? This is the largest luxury showroom in the world.
Where is that showroom?
This is in China, Shenzhen.
Amazing. Amazing.
And right next to the Bentleys is
somebody's
the
asked,
GT.
Somebody's asked, does the TSA protect us? What's a TSA?
Transport Safety Authority.
Okay, NTSB, yes, they do. In any authority, if it's TSA in Australia, NTSB in America, or Civil Aviation Authority, CAA, yes, they do. Absolutely. Thanks for the question.
Let me ask you something there. Okay, so the Bentley guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's what sort of what job did he have? Was he in finance or what was he in?
Construction, engineering, toilet safety authority.
So can't he get another job or what?
Don't know. I'm reading the questions, Archie.
No, but we only read the super chats. We don't care about the questions. We only care about super chats. This is free enterprise.
Well, no, some of the questions can stimulate super chats. So I think it's important.
Tell me this.
I think it's important to read the questions as well. Sorry?
So if he got rid of the Bentley, that's it. But maybe he's upside down on the lease.
Possibly, yeah.
Like sometimes it's like, does he love his Bentley or not?
Yes.
John,
what?
Like, how do you know he loves his Bentley?
Somebody, hang on. Happy Meal, John, what airline are you a baggage handler at? I failed the baggage handler's assessment. That's the truth. I didn't get to be a baggage handler. So actually, I'm not a baggage handler anymore. I failed their assessment.
How do you know he loves his Bentley? Could I ask you that?
No, I don't know. I really, really don't know.
Okay. What did your wife think of his Bentley?
Read whatever you like in the chat.
Maybe you could ring him and say, I hear that you need to get rid of your Bentley. You could make a lowball offer.
Just tell him to sell the thing, and Captain Kirk Bentley convertible is awesome. Yeah, it is. It's a nice car. Happy Meal, John, you're an improved troll. Cheers, pal. Thanks. So Archie, I think the chats are important because people, if you can get the Dunhill DB7 Dunhill up, Archie, let's have a look at that.
I did before. Nice. I wasn't that. It's a bit old. I think it's.
So when what? My mother-in-law's a bit older. Hang on.
That's when Jaguar was owned by. That's when Ford owned Jaguar and Aston. That's not a good time. That wasn't a good time for Aston.
Tommy with a spanner has asked, do you investigate crashes ever? Yes, I have been an expert witness in a number of fatalities, and I've had to provide witness reports to various authorities. It's not pleasant, but you've got to be honest and you've got to be to the point. John failed the baggage handler's assessment, instead became a bag rat. What's a bag rat? Maybe I did. Maybe I'm a bag rat and I don't even know it. What is a bag rat?
A bag rat. John, I got to ask you something.
Yeah.
You've left many questions unanswered. The guy with the Bentley, right?
Yeah.
Why aren't you friends? Why didn't you toady up to him and go for a drive in his Bentley? You love beautiful cars, don't you?
Hang on, Jake the Yuppie, this is a classic. I've been an expert witness of about 5,000 Pornhub videos. That's actually quite funny.
John, why couldn't you be friends with him?
You don't want to say that because if you say it, hang on, Jake. Hang on, just between me and Jake, right? If he says he's been an expert witness of about 5,000 Pornhub videos, somebody's going to call you a wanker. Not me. Somebody will call you a wanker, mate. Yeah, Archie, what's your question?
Why couldn't you be nice to him to get a drive in the Bentley? So I would love, he could have showed it to you. You could have sat in it. He could have taken you around the block in it.
Right. I'm going to tell you a story because you've asked a question which needs a story. Can you get the Bentleys off the screen and can we go back to big heads so I can tell the story?
Sure.
Thank you. Why didn't I take this car for a drive in a Bentley? Many years ago, I had a job, and there was a fellow who came in to see us, and he was a music producer, and he was a really decent bloke, and he drove an old classic Jaguar, an E-Type, and
Series 1, Series 2, Series 3.
I think it was a 2.
Roadster, fixed head coupe. 3.8, 4.2.
5.3 V12.
Okay, so that means it would have to be a Series 3. Did he have the
3.
Roadster or he had the coupe?
Roadster.
Roadster? And what colour?
Red. And he came in to see me. It was maroon. Wire wheels. Okay. And he would come in and we'd talk about the car, and he knew I really liked that car, and that was expensive, and he was a car collector as well. We didn't see him for a time or two, and there was a girl I was going out with who worked in the same company we did, and she was a very attractive girl, and he had a nice guy, there was, he also found her very attractive as well, this music producer, and we didn't see him for a few months. And one day the car came into the car park in the business I was working in, and this young fellow gets out, and he comes in, and he asked to see me. And I said, yeah. I said, oh, hi, how are you doing? I'm John, and said the car. I didn't quite figure. And he put the keys to the Bentley on the desk.
You mean the Jaguar, not the Bentley?
Sorry, the Jaguar. He put the keys to the Jaguar on the desk, and I said, what? I don't understand. And he sat down, and he said, my father's died, but my father always mentioned that you liked the car and you wanted to go for a drive in it. It was my father's wish that he can take his car for a drive. And I said, I can't.
I thought he was going to give you the fucking car, not a lousy drive, but anyhow.
And I said, no, I can't. He said, no, like my father mentioned, he had a list of things. He died of cancer, and he said he had a list of things to do, and one of them was to give John, because he wants to go for a drive in a car. So we went basically booked off the rest of the day, and I took the Bentley for a drive. We went out for a coffee, and I thought it was a very decent Jaguar. So you got me. I'm showing you guys how much I don't know about cars. The Jaguar. So we went for a drive in the car. So.
I thought he'd give you the fucking car.
No, I didn't want the car. So that's life, health, friendship, much more important than cars, Archie. Come on.
What stops you being nice to the Bentley guy and getting a drive out of it, taking you around the block?
I'm not interested. I'm just not interested. Angelic Slayer V12, yeah, you're right. V12 5.3 maroon Jag, beautiful car. I think it had the twin Hoyer clocks in it as well. The timing clocks. It was like a really nice machine.
They would have had Lucas.
Jaguar.
Lucas Electrics. The Prince of Darkness.
Yeah.
You don't get that joke. Okay. John. Okay, so you went for a drive in the Jaguar. How was it? That would have been nice. Probably an automatic in most.
Three-speed automatic.
Did you enjoy taking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you enjoy going for a drive in it?
Yeah, it was interesting.
He let you drive it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, there you go. Who shot down MH17? The Russians?
Patel
Auto
Philippe,
Jag.
give us a proper Jerry Clarkson Jag.
I don't like Jeremy Clarkson. He's an idiot.
No.
I wouldn't have taken the car anyway because, you know, it wasn't, it's not for me. It's for the family. It's for their kids. John, please tell me you'll be here all week.
So,
I don't know.
I don't understand, John. You like vintage things. Why wouldn't you like the Bentley? Why can't you be nice to the Bentley?
It's not vintage. It's German. It's made by Volkswagen.
Okay, it's owned by Volkswagen Audi Group. Okay. However,
hang on. Tommy, tell me why I've messed up. Why have I messed up?
I mean, so anyhow, the guy with the Bentley, no other updates. That's it.
No other updates. Right, hang on a minute. John, what happened to
How long
Lockerbie?
ago did he have financial trouble?
Archie, we've got some really interesting questions here.
Okay.
What happened to Lockerbie? Was it Gaddafi? Why did Scotland release one guy who was convicted over it? Great question, right? They released him on compassionate grounds because he said he was going to die. He was going to die in a Scottish diet. So he went back to Libya and lived for another 3 years on the Mediterranean diet. He should have given he murdered 270 people in Lockerbie in December 21st, 1988. Unbelievable. Anyway, Archie, back to you. Jake the Yuppie, you need to understand that you have to be selective about responding to us in the gallery. All right, I selectively responded to you, Jake the Yuppie. There you go.
I find it kind of strange that you wouldn't have been friends with him and said, what a beautiful Bentley you've got.
I'm not friends with him.
Okay. Okay, that's the thing about the Scots. They're fucking mean. They're mean. You'd rather eat your hand than be nice to him because you don't want him to think you like his poxy car. Then can't you just, who gives a fuck? You said, fuck, that's a nice car. He'd say, oh, thank you. So it might make his day. Instead, I don't give a fuck about your, man, you are a mean cunt. You know that, John? You are a mean fucking cunt. That's what you are. A mean, miserable cunt.
You missed out one word.
What's that?
Scottish.
I just think, why wouldn't you give him a compliment and say, what a fucking beautiful car you got, mate?
Which person are we talking about? Are we talking about the father who died in his Jaguar 5.3 Series 12, wire wheels, maroon,
Bentley
3 point. The Bentley guy was living beyond his means.
So what? We all do that. Welcome to the hobby, John.
I need a tour in Libya. Right. Yeah.
Maybe the Bentley made him really happy in life.
I don't think it did.
Why do you say that? How can you be judgmental that it didn't make him happy?
Because he's got to sell it. He was living beyond his means.
Yeah, but at least he enjoyed it. Isn't it better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all?
How can you love an inanimate object? How can you have a relationship with something that can't respond? Isn't that like these people who collect these wristwatches? They say they love the watch. There are so many characters on YouTube with their watches, and you go, they're like men, they're like bizarre people who unbox watches and they masturbate themselves into oblivion over wristwatches. Well, there you go, guys. There's my watch. Time is the most precious thing that we have. Why fabricate time on some kind of wristwatch? It's just bizarre. I met so many people at this watch exhibition in London in Dee's. It's a great exhibition. Dee put on a fantastic show, but some of the people, you unbox Bentleys, some of the people were just bizarre. Like there's a watch company in England and they go around aircraft that have crashed where the pilots and the aircrew have died. They dig up parts of these aircraft, they put them in wristwatches with Swiss movements and cases that are made in Hong Kong, and they charge people a lot of money. Anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm actually flying back home. We're going to have another 12 minutes, 15 minutes of show time.
And then it's...
I want to say, John, it's been a pleasure having you on. You're a really good guy. I like you.
Well, do you know what? I'm thinking, Archie, of having...
You're a cantankerous fuck, but I like you. You're a cantankerous fuck. And I mean, see, sometimes, John, let me explain something to you. Sometimes people use the Bentley.
Hang on a minute. John is salty. He didn't get a Zero West given for free. Right. Okay. I'm going to explain something to you now. Archie's disappeared. I've got some moral issues with people who have lost their lives in the defense of their country, and their last resting place, or where their body or their mortal remains were recovered from, is then robbed, and people make profit out of that. If somebody gave me one of those watches for free, I would have some kind of ethical or moral dissonance as a pilot, as an aircraft restorer, and somebody who actually has respect for the sacrifices and supreme sacrifices that were made, that people promised that profit from that. So you raise a great point. I don't think I would have one of those watches. I really don't. I think where people have died, I think when you do crash investigation and forensic recovery, it is not possible to recover 100% of the human remains from an air crash. Invariably and inevitably, there will be human remains in part in those aircraft that have been scavenged and parts are taken from. So I've got an issue with that. And if people want to make a business out of that's their pigeon. It's not for me to criticize them, other than criticize them from a point of professional observation. And I wouldn't take one of their watches. I think some of the designs are interesting. And I'm a little bloke. I've got quite small wrists. I do a lot of endurance sports, and the watches just wouldn't fit. So there are many reasons I wouldn't take one of their watches, but I hope that's answered your questions. Anyway, Archie's disappeared. He's gone off, leaving me to...
No, I'm here. I'm here.
And Archie, what did you think of that response?
I just wanted to...
Yeah.
Look, I kind of think you may be misinterpreting it, okay?
Okay.
I think you might be misinterpreting it in the sense that some people would find out of this tragedy, they find some goodness out of having a piece of history or a remembrance. So instead of it being like you've kind of, you've kind of looked at the politics of it and said, oh, they're capitalizing. Or maybe they do it not for... I'll be honest with you. Can I tell you honestly? A lot of these fucking micro brands, they're flogging dead fucking horses. They're unfucking sellable. Yeah. Nobody wants this fucking garbage. Okay, let me tell you honestly, okay? I'll tell you honestly, nobody wants a lot of this garbage. These guys are flogging themselves, trying to have a point of difference in the marketplace. And sometimes, they're trying to differentiate themselves in the marketplace, right? And all they're trying to do is just bring a bit of joy. So if this product, see, you've turned it into this big commercial quest. I would say to you that most of these companies that sell this stuff are really not even breaking even, because nobody fucking... It's very tough to sell micro brands. Micro brands are incredibly difficult to sell. And, in all honesty. I think.
Hang on a minute,
I've offered.
Archie. Jake the Yuppie's raised a point.
I'm just answering the question, and you've already come off and cut me off here. I've owned a number of things with dead people. I've owned a number of things.
Yeah.
I got a pair of shoes that came from someone who died, right? And I think the person would be happy that I'm getting pleasure and joy out of their shoes. Do we just waste these resources? Do we waste these resources because your middle-class morality doesn't allow you? What right do you have to say we can't make fancy ornaments from a crashed aircraft? What right do you have to say that? Who are you to lay this moral bullshit on me?
These are morals for me. They're not morals for anybody else. It's just answer to a question.
Sure.
And you might be right. You know, this is something I've got to go away and think about. Somebody asked a question.
Maybe
if you steal
they'd be honoured that they're remembered. Maybe they'd be honoured that, fuck, someone's actually remembered me. Is that any less disrespectful than the bodies?
Okay, to answer the question,
came out of that Malaysian thing in Russia where they just hacked watches off people. Was that any less respectful?
I know. You're conflating two issues here. The first is that the people are remembered in the Commonwealth War Graves Commission. It's not the job of a micro brand to do the job of the Commonwealth War Graves Commission. What happened in Russia, in Ukraine, with that aircraft, the Malaysian aircraft being shot down, it was reprehensible and disgusting. And in fact, there were British reporters and correspondents and journalists who were raking through the belongings of the people. So, Archie, my morals are for me. They're not for anybody else. I'm only explaining my position, and I'm not actually saying to people, you've got to do as I do. Another point you mentioned about middle-class morality, I don't understand what the class system is. I don't think of myself as belonging to a class. But my morals are for me. Somebody said that there was another question. It's gone past now. But I think it's important that if people ask questions or raise issues, we try and go through them. But all I can talk about is how I lead my life. I'm not here to tell people how to lead theirs. I might be wrong. I might be way off, you know, the mark here. Yeah. Jake the Uppie went to the Shrine of Remembrance for the first time yesterday. Pretty impressive. Yeah, and it's not the job of a micro brand to do the job of the Commonwealth War Graves Commission or the American administrations who remember the war dead. That's my point. And Archie's right. You know, the brands are not making money. Everybody's just trying to make
I think
money.
A lot of these brands are flogging dead fucking horses.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Seriously, did they sell many brands at that event? They put a lot of effort into building their profile. It's very tough. Very tough.
Yeah. It was a good event, Archie, but I think that having me there, and I don't know much about wristwatches, was a big mistake, and I might have, you know, put my foot in it a few times. And meeting this Roman Scharf character, I didn't realize how big and how famous and how wealthy he was. But to me, whatever, you know, he lives his life, I live mine. You know, it can all turn on a six.
I met that Roman Scharf myself. I found him very, very friendly. I didn't find a problem. I don't understand. I don't understand what you're saying.
No, that he had a very expensive wristwatch, and he asked me what was the inspiration for these Chinese watches. I said, I don't know. And he said, it's the wristwatch he's wearing. I went, yeah, okay, fine. Whatever.
What was he wearing?
Uhrwerk.
Oh, an Uhrwerk, yeah. Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, because you were at the Adawak stand.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've never heard of Uhrwerk. I've never heard of Atawak. Casio.
Oh.
Casio. Yeah. 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 And I think it's important to answer the questions because, you know, people, if they make an effort to type something in, then we should make an effort to try and answer the comments.
But I've got to tell you something, okay?
Yeah.
I'm intrigued that you really want one of those Dunhill cars, because I don't. Are they that expensive? Why did you particularly need a Dunhill one? Can't you just get a doggy DB7? They're not that amazing, are they?
The Dunhill DB7. Just a
Yeah,
car.
Dunhill's a brand that's become virtual dog shit. That brand
Thanks, Archie.
used to be. Sorry?
Thanks, Archie.
No, I used to love Dunhill. I used to love Dunhill as a brand.
Thanks. Right.
The funny thing is, in the UK, Dunhill's virtually dead, but in Asia, it's popular.
Hang on, Red Dawn, were the kamikaze brave, stupid, or shamed? Indoctrinated. This is a kind of bypass all of your things. Well, yeah, Jake the Uppie, brainwashed. Yeah, same. Yeah, we agree. So I don't know. I just think the Dunhill DB7 is a nice, it's like the other thing. Another fellow shot in the dark today, Dunhill. Yeah, I agree with you, but that's today. I'm talking about the past. And I had another person that came into the place where I worked, and he had a Opel Manta 400.
Actually, look at this. M2 Carlino says DB7 is garbage, which is why dealers will not buy them. You can buy them for peanuts.
Absolutely right, M2 Carlino. You're 100% correct, and that's why they don't cost a lot of money. They've got Mazda and Ford parts in them. They're easy to fix. They've got a 3.2 straight six truck engine in them. The parts, pistons, cylinders, camshafts, conrods.
I think you might be exaggerating a bit here. They're not that easily fixed.
They're very cheap to fix. They're really, really easy to fix. So M2 Carlinos, he's actually identified why I'm one of these, because they are garbage. Dealers won't buy them, which means they get relegated to private users like myself. You can track them, you can smash them, you can wreck them, you can modify them. But you know what, M2 Carlino, they've still got that Aston Martin badge on the bonnet. They've still got Connolly leather seats in them. And when you look in the mirror and you see yourself, this might be 2024, but you look at yourself, you imagine yourself as that kid that always wanted one of those. And that's why I want one. Because back in the 1980s, when I was a lot younger, 40 years ago, that was the car I wanted as a kid.
It's actually a 90s car. Let's get out.
Late 80s.
These are a 90s. DB7's a 90s car.
1989?
That's when Ford. Sorry?
1989?
That's when Ford
came.
So
in. Remember, Ford,
there's a lot of stuff interchangeable on the Jaguars with them. You know that?
Yeah.
And by the way, that V6 Duratec that Ford uses is fucking garbage.
It's not a V6, it's a straight six. It's not a V6, it's a straight
six. That Jaguar.
Anyway, Carlino's right. I'm not going to disagree with them. They are garbage, and dealers don't want them. That's why we end up getting them for nothing. It's still an Aston Martin. Anyway.
Yes, I love Aston Martin.
An M2 car. Yes, John, but then you get overtaken by an M2 competition and feel small, and then the M2 competition gets stopped by a police car because he's breaking the speed limit. So who feels small then? Do it's all relative, but you raise great points. How many inches do I gain by driving a DB9? 2 over a DB7. That's your question. Wasn't the DB7 in Gran Turismo? Don't know. The DB7 makes you look like Johnny English. I'm Johnny Scottish. I think Rowan Atkinson actually had a DB7.
And where was James Bond from? He was Scottish too, wasn't he?
Sean Canary, or Sean Connery was actually Scottish. Sean Canary. But hello, Skizzin boys. Nice that you're in the. And I saw you in Spencer's place. John does not know how to have fun. M2 Carlino, I do, but I think what you're trying to say is I don't know how to have fun with my clothes on. You have to finish the sentence. I think I'm right in saying that. John does not know how to have fun with his clothes on. You're right, I don't. Do you like the great Jackie Stewart? No, I think Jackie Stewart grates. Still game or nothing, right? Anyway, I've been told to be selective with the comments.
Okay, guys, I got to get out and catch a. Speaking of planes, I got to
Archie,
get to
thanks very much. You've got to catch a plane. I've got to catch some Zeds.
John, for coming on, man. I actually, jokes aside, I really enjoyed our conversations. You're a deep chap. I will say, I think it is. Let me just give you some life pointers.
Please, please.
Next time, say hello to the Bentley guy. Just say, what a nice car.
Right. Okay.
You know, let me tell you something. Yeah. I was in America, and I said to this guy, what a night. He had an Audi A5 or Audi Q5. Yeah. I said, what a really nice Audi you've got. He goes, thank you. He goes, you've really made my day. I made his day by saying he had a nice car. Now, between you and me, there's a lot of DNA in that Audi that's in the Bentley. They're both bad products. Now, just go and say to him, what a beautiful car you've got. He's having a hard time. He's going to lose it soon. Just say, what a beautiful Bentley. You know, he might even take you around the block in it. Just be nice, okay?
Yeah.
Guys, we've had a few super chats today. I want to thank the super chatters. And the super chatters are...
Thanks, Tenpenny. Enjoyed being here. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Patel Philippe, CB, Patel Philippe, Herman Love, Patel Philippe, Toyota Mo, Patel Philippe, Jake the Yuppie, Frank V, That Watch Boy, John C, and Patel Philippe. Guys, that's the show for today. I'll be back in Australia tomorrow. John, it's a pleasure having you on.
Thanks
I'm really happy for you. That best thing you said today was you might get back with your ex once.
Yeah.
Man, do it. Just fucking do it, man. Bite your tongue. Don't be such a cunt. It'll be better for the kid. Your daughter will love it more if you guys are. Remember, the kids always want their parents to be together.
Yeah.
Okay. So just remember that. Guys, it's been a good show. I got to get to the airport. I'll be back tomorrow in Brisbane. See you later. Love you, John. John, love you. You be good, man.
Thanks very much.
And I thought you did a good job at the watch event. I enjoyed chatting to. I thought you did a good job. Okay, don't be so hard on yourself. It was good. It was good.
I think.
And don't worry, Roman was never going to buy one. It doesn't. You don't need to worry about punters. He was never a punter. He was never a customer.
He was.
See you later, guys.